Welcome to the Senior Hour, which is sponsored by Comfort Keepers in Home Care and Advanced Audiology. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host,
Dr. Gene Dorio.
on your hometown station, KHTS 98.1 FM, AM 1220. This is a show for, about, and by seniors, giving information to enhance one's quality of life. And our in-studio guest this morning is Bob Sharits from Way Out Recovery Center. And later in the hour, we will be speaking with Matt Browning, who is the owner of Mend Cryotherapy. Welcome, Bob. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, thank you for having me on again. You know, anytime I'm invited back to someplace more than once, it's a big deal. No, I'm kidding.
That's
So
right.
thank you very much for having me on.
And
But you have something really, really important to talk about also.
Well, and it's neat that, the timing of the invitation to come on the show is perfect. Because not too long ago, I was invited over to the senior center by Linda Davies, and the reason I was there is to speak to a group of seniors, to talk to them, really to educate them on current drugs, because they have been put in a position where we now have, and I'm seeing this a lot, where we now have grandparents who are parenting their teenage now grandchildren.
Right.
And so because of the generation in between and the opiate epidemic, and so those children now are reaching an age where they are starting to experiment with drugs. And the generation of seniors that is taking care of them in that generation has no clue as to what the current state of drugs that are out there and drug use is. And so, when I was asked to come here, I thought, what's the topic? And that is
Perfect.
really, I think, a perfect thing to talk about. And so,
Absolutely. Drugs are out there in our community, in every community, and unfortunately, it reaches from the kids to the older adults, and we can't stop that. That's going to happen. But the awareness, Bob, that you bring to this arena is so important, because working with Linda Davies, the Senior Center, brings to light the problems that our older adults face with their kids and grandkids.
right.
So that needs to be reflected in this show and this station and our community, and I know that's what you're doing. That's so important for us to get this information.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Yes, I agree. I think the biggest way that we can combat the epidemic of addiction that is really sweeping the world, but certainly right here in our backyard, is to talk more about it, to educate people, to raise awareness, to get people comfortable enough talking about uncomfortable topics, so that they're everyday conversations. Because, here's a for instance, is statistics say that by the time a parent finds out that their children are using, usually marijuana is first, are usually using drugs, that child has already been using for at least 18 months. So they're already using for a year and a half by the time we're seeing clear indicators. And so the more that we can educate people on what the signs are of early stage drug use, the sooner that they can intervene, And so when I was over there, I talked to them about, paying attention to their teenage children, their grandchildren, on what kind of music they're listening to, who they're hanging out with, what their clothing styles are. And if you are having conversations, how their mood is, right? If you're having conversations and spending time with anybody that you love on a regular basis, you're going to notice if there's any changes. You're going to notice if they stop hanging out with those people and start hanging out with a new crowd. You're going to notice if all of a sudden things that were important to them, like sports and things like that, are all of a sudden not important to them. You're going to notice mood swings. You're going to notice smells and sights that are going on inside of the house. And the earlier that you can intervene on a person's drug use, the better chance they have of of not becoming addicts. So
One of the things that does occur is that seniors, grandparents, sometimes are on medication for pain, for whatever. They're taking care of their grandkids, and kids are curious.
yeah,
They see a bottle of pills, and whoa, and they've got access to a computer. They can look it up,
yep.
and ooh, maybe I can get high on this.
Well, I've been working with
and
I've
that I think is one indication, one area where young kids, teenagers, can get involved
Right.
with taking pills.
So let's talk about the safeguards of that right there. A couple of different things that are going on there. I've been working with teenagers in the Santa Clarita Valley who struggle with drugs and alcohol for about 14 years now. And in that in all those thousands of interactions that I've had with teenagers, so many times I've heard stories, not necessarily of the kid themselves going directly to their parents, but their friends. So the kids that are already using drugs will purposely go, oh, you live with grandma, and they know that as we get older we need medications, and they'll come over and visit the friend and say, can I use your bathroom? So here's the safeguard, right? Isn't it interesting that the thing that is probably the most dangerous thing in our home, which is our medications, is kept in the only room in our house where a total stranger can have 100% access to it without it being locked up, right?
That's right.
So we need to change that. If you have medications, and I don't care what kind of medications they are, get yourself a lockbox. Get a lockbox. It's simple enough. I think they cost $40 or $50 at Walmart or wherever. Get yourself a little safe. Keep all your medications in there, and keep that safe in a place where strangers can't get to it, like in your room or something, as if it was a gun in your own home, or as if take safeguards, so that strangers don't have access to it.
Here in Santa Clarita a few years ago, probably 10 years ago now, we had something called dumpster jumping. And what kids were doing was they went over to one of our senior apartments, and they got into the garbage area, and they were fishing out empty prescription bottles.
Right.
And so they then used those prescription bottles to refill medication. And at that time, it wasn't as strict as it is now, but they were doing that, and we brought it forward in the news and had a press conference here in Santa Clarita, and we had safeguards now at the senior apartments, even in terms of locking the garbage areas. But this went all the way, what we did here, and it was in the newspapers, and then went back east, and I got a letter from the Attorney General of Minnesota, and he thanked us for bringing this forward, that kids were now getting refills on their grandparents' medication
From the empty bottles.
From the empty bottles. And that still can happen, though, if you do not lock those medications up in a lockbox or put them somewhere that is safeguarded.
And before you throw your empty bottles away, remove the label.
Absolutely.
Remove the label off of them.
Absolutely.
You want to do that anyway, because any personal information, we live in a world today where almost all of our finances are transferring, any of our personal information is transferring electronically. And so those people that have the ways and means to break into that, all they need is your personal information. And oftentimes
A birth date
a birth date will be on there sometimes.
Address,
an
phone number,
address,
you're
a
done.
name, all of it, right? And they can get into your accounts, not just for medications, but for other means as well. One of the things, it's interesting, when I work with teenagers who are now in recovery, and you get them to a spot where they can start to change their thinking, one of the things that I'll say is I'll bring up scams like that, and I'll say, gosh, what genius thinking that is, right? Like you're going to such lengths to go and get these drugs. Imagine if you could take that genius and turn it into schoolwork or something, right?
Yeah, get educated.
And they do.
Creative and
they
different
do.
in the world.
And they do. Yeah, because we have some amazing teenagers out there today. And so, that's really important, is to safeguard your medications if you have, safeguard them, period. I don't want to say, I don't want to put a caveat on that.
No.
You know, always safeguard them. Treat them as if they are as dangerous as they are. Right?
So Bob, help the listeners, help our seniors who are listening to this show. Help them, for those especially, and it could be their kids, but mostly grandkids or great grandkids. What you had mentioned earlier, mood changes and dress, and what are the things that in place of the fear that they're going to be spying on their grandkids,
Right.
what are the things that you can bring out again that our listeners can take with them and say, hey, my kid, my grandson or granddaughter might be on drugs. What are those clues that we can look for and try to just be aware of that could lead us in a direction to help our grandkids?
So one of the things that I was trying to accomplish, and I hope I did over at that meeting at the senior center, was to give some empowerment to those who are, to anybody who's got kids or grandkids that they're taking care of, is, don't be afraid to, first of all, have that conversation with your teenager. If you think that they are on drugs, then say that to them. Look, we live in a world today where it's scary. It's not personal. It's not against you.
You can die.
You can absolutely die from this stuff. And, when it comes to the safety of my child, that is secondary to your privacy. I don't ever want to say that it's I think people should have their privacy by all means. But here's a for instance. So I have children of my own. I have a 7-year-old and I have a 10-year-old boys, right? We've been having the conversation about drugs since the day they were born. It is an ongoing, common conversation, so that's what I want to give to the listeners just off the bat, is if you're not having that conversation on a regular basis, and there are a lot of opportunities to do it, just turn on the news. Turn on the news and use those as teachable moments, as teachable opportunities, is when something on the news comes on, like an overdose or, a wreck where there was alcohol involved or something like that. You can shut that TV off, and now it's a conversation in your living room. Let's talk about that, what's happening in the world. Let's talk about drug use. Let's talk about all that stuff on a regular basis. If you are having that conversation, then it's really easy to say, look, it's a scary world out there. And it's not that I don't trust you, but you should know that I'm going to drug test you. Yeah. You should know that periodically I'm going to open your backpack. You should know that I want to be able to walk into your room and smell, right? And then question any foreign smells that are in there. And if you're doing that, then the conversation is easy. If you're already in a spot where you haven't done that, I don't want you to feel like, oh, shame on me, I haven't had that conversation. You can start today. Right. Start having that conversation today. It's a little more difficult if you already have a teenager and you've never had that conversation, but it sounds the same. This is nothing against you. It's against the big scary world that can be out there when it comes to drugs, and I'm safe. My job is to take care of you.
So let's follow through with that, though. Let's say you say to your grandson or daughter, I'm going to drug test you. How do you follow through with that? How do you, is there steps that, instead of just a threat, we can say, here's a cup.
Right.
How do we do that, and where do we go, and what are the tools we have?
If you're comfortable if you have no problem handing your kid a cup and saying go, then you can buy them at Walmart or Walgreens. You can buy them all over the place. If you are resistant to having that,
where do you take it? Where do you take the drug sample?
So they're so you know how a pregnancy test works, right?
Oh, it's a test.
So you dip it in the urine, and then it tells you positive or negative. And it has a range of drugs. You can buy them where they have 10, 12 different drugs on them, and it'll come up positive or negative on that. If you're not,
I don't know this.
So
I'm a physician. I don't know.
So it's just like they're just like pregnancy tests. It's either positive or negative. Same thing. Right. And so there's a lot of home tests that you can do. You can also go to you can ask your doctor. So next time you take your child for his checkup, say, I would like to have what's called the tox screen. the toxicology reports. Hey, let's get a blood test. And so most places send, I don't know, there's clinics
Different
out,
labs.
There's labs out here, right?
Yes.
But if you're sitting there listening going, oh my God, like that seems like a big task, here's what I want to offer to everybody. Call me. Call us at the way out. We will gladly sit down with you and your teenager and help you have that conversation. We will guide you through that. If you want drug tests, we can provide drug testing on site, monitored, all of that stuff. And so we're not the only one. There's other organizations in town that can do that, drug treatment centers, but we'll do that, no problem.
Are you going to be speaking again at the senior center
I'd
this year?
like to. I could, yeah. I could
Okay.
set that up with Linda. I mean, it's easy enough to do. So maybe we can do that and sort of have a public announcement where we can get a bigger
Yes,
crowd.
absolutely.
Because the people
Oh,
that I
yes.
spoke to last time was a crowd, specifically a number of seniors who said, we have teenagers
Grandkids.
that we're taking care of and we need to talk to this guy. So she brought me in to talk to a group that requested me.
Yeah.
But we could certainly
Open it
do
up.
a public, we could
Yeah.
open it up to the public, certainly.
Let's do
I
that.
think that's as easy as an email to Linda Davies.
Okay.
you
Well,
know?
and granted,
Yeah.
I they have lectures over there that are so important and relevant to so many of our older adults. But this is a little bit more specific. But we have to get you on the schedule over there,
Right,
Bob.
right.
That is mandatory. I think our listeners right now are probably getting ready to call us and say, when is it going to be?
Right.
And I think, Barbara, we have to be able to do this for our
I
seniors
agree.
in the senior
Well,
community.
let's
I
certainly,
agree.
let's
Let's work
follow
on
through
that.
on it. Let's do it in the next,
Thank you.
however long it takes to set that up. I have no problem doing it. I
it-
like doing stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting as far as my family situation is concerned. My son has a medical marijuana dispensary, and he's had it for quite a few years.
Right.
And he was able to, with his own kids and with my grandkids and great grandkids, he's been able to describe and explain to them all of the different areas where marijuana can lead
Right.
to stronger drugs. However, medical marijuana is used greatly for pain
Right.
rather than opioids, which are a lot more dangerous to your body.
Well, you know what?
Because it's interesting, when I went through my cancer, the doctor prescribed hydrocodone,
Yeah.
and I was taking those pills every 4 hours because of the pain. And my son came and visited. Mom, that stuff will tear your body apart.
Yeah.
Please let me get you some CBD pills.
Right.
And they're just as effective as far as pain is concerned, but they're a lot less dangerous, much less dangerous than the hydrocodone. And
Well,
those
what's neat
kinds of
about
things.
medical advances in things like cannabis and us legalizing it for recreational use is, from my perspective, is that it opens up that conversation right there.
Yeah, there
The
you go.
more that people are talking honestly about what drugs benefit and what harm they do,
Yes.
whether legal
Very
or,
good,
or
Bob.
otherwise,
Absolutely.
the better off we're going to be.
Absolutely.
That's the way he feels about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and of course, in his dispensary, no one gets any medical marijuana unless they have a prescription from their doctor.
Right. Well, and nobody,
And-
even the pro marijuana guys are not advocating it for teenagers. So like I get kids all the time. They go, "Well, but it's legal," and I go, "It's not legal for you." you know,
right.
and so it's
Exactly.
managed correctly, right? And that's part of the conversation as well.
Yeah.
Is that there may be some benefits to this, but not for the teenage brain,
young brain.
which is not even has
Matured
not
and
even
grown.
fully developed
No.
yet.
Right.
We
And
don't want
that's,
to damage
that's
that.
critical.
Yeah.
And
those
that
of us
will
who
be damaged.
we feel, some of us feel it is a gateway drug, and that.
Sure.
But opening the conversation, like you said, Bob, is so important, because those people where it could have been a gateway drug, because they understand the conversation, they'll sway away from that.
That's
And
right.
That's the
That's right.
important thing that you said.
And you're 30 times less likely to become a drug addict if you use after the age of 25.
There you go. There you go.
You know?
Okay.
How do people
this
get
is,
in touch with you?
yes.
So just call our office at 661-296-4444. Again, 296-4444. You can look us up online, thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com.
That's wonderful. Thanks, Bob, for sharing.
Great information. Bob.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having me again. I appreciate it.
And we'll see you again.
Of course.
soon.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
nice to hear.
Terrific. Thank you. We need to take a break. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
If you're tired of your nail polish chipping a day or two after an expensive manicure, then you'll love the gel nail polish manicure now offered by Ann. Ann is a licensed manicure serving the Santa Clarita Valley in Canyon Country for over 15 years. And now she's offering the gel manicure that lasts without chipping for up to 2 weeks. Log on to hometownstation.com for details on how to get an amazing deal on gel nails by Ann on Restaurant Row, or call Ann at 250-8340.
A little bit of North Poland comes to Santa Clarita, the pierogi spot on Golden Valley near Sam's Club. Hearty Polish dumplings stuffed with everything from potatoes and meat to fruit. Plump, puffy pockets of comfort food perfection. Family owned and operated. The pierogi spot also offers Polish sausage, stuffed cabbage rolls, and Polish hunter stew. Not to mention delicious dessert crepes and specialty cakes. Open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Wednesday through Sunday. Catering and private parties available. For more information, go to pierogispot.com or call 254-4850.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign, next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Hi, I'm Miles McNamara, Certified Senior Advisor and owner of Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Our caregivers help you in your own home. A Comfort Keeper can provide companionship, meal preparation, medication monitoring, assistance with personal care, transportation to doctor appointments, all enhancing your independence and safety in the comfort and privacy of your own home. So if you or someone you love could use a helping hand at home, call Comfort Keepers at 287-4200. That's 287-4200.
Santa Clarita Valley residents now have greater access to the excellent physicians and high-quality medical services for which Providence Holy Cross is known. Providence Holy Cross Health Center in Santa Clarita features state-of-the-art cancer and imaging technologies, as well as board-certified physicians in a variety of medical specialties. Quality and compassion from a healthcare provider you can depend on. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING or visit us at providence.org.
Healthcare can be difficult if you're underinsured or have Medi-Cal. Samuel Dixon Family Health Center can help. Services are available on a sliding fee schedule. The mission of the Samuel Dixon Family Health Center is to give the Santa Clarita Valley access to affordable, quality primary care. There are 3 locations to serve you: Canyon Country, Newhall, and Valverde. Go to sdfhc.org for more information and to find the location most convenient for you.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign, next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me?
back to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host Barbara Cochran on your hometown station, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM KHTS. We're going to be speaking with Matt Browning in just a moment, but we wanted to bring up our fundraiser at the Senior Center. This will be on February 29th, and it's so important. You know, we have a new Senior Center. It's just outstanding in terms of all the activities and events and food and the things it does for this community. But, you know, it's a 501c3, it's a nonprofit, they need to raise funds. And so on February 29th, we're having in the Grand Ballroom, a Knights of Royals. It's a celebrity waiter event. And Barbara, you're going to be having a table there too.
Oh, yes.
But we want to bring up also that there are seats still available. And we want to make sure that we fill the whole ballroom up. And if you want to go, and if you are a senior, 55 or older, you can get a discounted seat as well. But you do have to call 661-259-9444, extension 143. You can ask for Christine, or you can talk to Kevin McDonald, the executive director at the Senior Center. But please, there are seats available. We want to fill the place up. It's such a worthy event. It's such a worthy center, the Senior Center, that we now have in Santa Clarita. We've had it for years and years and years, but now it's tremendous, and it's providing a huge service in terms of information, communication, camaraderie, all of that for those older adults, and because it's intergeneration for everybody in this community. So, Barbara, thank you for having a table, and you know, we appreciate your involvement and all of us trying to make sure that you know, we keep this thing moving forward.
Absolutely. And if it hadn't been for my blessed husband, we wouldn't have a senior center.
That's right. I mean, he did all the work, and
Yes,
you
he did.
to fulfill the needs to get the ball rolling. What year was it? 1976 or so?
1975.
1975.
It started in 73, but working with the county and all of that, and it finally occurred. I just wish he had been here to see the new senior center open.
But he's still here.
Oh, yes, he is. But I would have loved him to go up there and see it, because that was his baby. It really was.
So, Matt, welcome to the show. Matt Browning from Men Cryotherapy. So tell us a little bit about Men Cryotherapy. What did MEND, M-E-N-D, how does it mend, and will it help our seniors?
From my experience in the last 3.5 years that we've been doing it, it provides tremendous relief for multiple different issues. It depends on what we're referring to, but you know, we have clients up in excess of 80 years old that come in anywhere from 3 to even 7 days a week. So for a lot of people, it was invented in 1978 for rheumatoid arthritis in Japan, and from there they realized all the other benefits that come along with it. But in turn, it takes away inflammation. We have the major benefit is it takes away inflammation so rapidly. So, you know, as you get older, a lot of people end up getting osteoarthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis ends up, you know, exacerbating.
And some of that, Matt, some of the problems that as we become older that we face is not having mobility.
Right.
And for instance, my best example is myself. I couldn't walk 4 weeks ago. You know, I was not able to get out of a chair, and I was in constant pain. And saw doctors, specialists, diagnosis made, and slowly getting better. Now I actually go over to the senior center in the morning and work out in their gym to strengthen the muscle. I'm doing physical therapy. As all my friends over there and colleagues over there, they state you're getting your physical therapy here at the senior center, which I am doing using their exercise room. So there are so many older adults who are listening to this show and saying, I'm in pain, I can't move, I can't get up, I can't drive anymore. You know, I can't do the things that I used to be able to do comfortably, and I don't want to rely on drugs.
Right. So you just mentioned a good point, and I'm gonna instead of just maybe directing it towards cryotherapy, I'm gonna talk more in general, just from what I can. You just mentioned something that's very important, and I think exercise when it comes to senior citizens is extremely important, diet and exercise. For years, everybody was push pills forever, taking all kinds of medication, causes all kinds of other problems on top of that. You start losing more and more mobility, and it's a chain reaction.
Yep.
What we end up doing with a lot of people is we'll get them in there. They can't exercise at first. They're in too much pain. They've gone down this rabbit hole, per se, after a while. We get them moving. Actually, I'll help even guide them to the right trainer or whatever situation we need to do to get them, even if it's dance classes, yoga classes, weight training, whatever it might be. And there's a combination of multiple things that go into the recovery, no matter what it is. But as far as cryotherapy, 3 minutes, people walk in. Typically, you step out and you already feel tremendous relief. Not for everybody. Sometimes it takes more than one time. It's not a magic bullet. But it's what I found is it's probably one of the most effective instant pain reliefs for most minor aches and pains. And it's helped multiple clients that I have get off of addictive opiates. Even on that note, the other issue you have from the chronic pain and even taking these pills is the mental aspect of it.
Oh,
We have
absolutely.
serious issues now with depression and anxiety.
That's right.
That's one of the biggest issues we're dealing with in society today. So one of the great benefits of cryotherapy, personally, I think one of the greatest benefits about cryotherapy is the endorphin rush that you get from it.
Yeah,
So
very good.
You can walk out in 3 minutes and actually feel very happy. And a lot of people, it's funny, the first time they do it, I ask them how they feel, and they're like, I don't know how to explain this, because it's kind of a weird sensation for them when they've been in pain every single day.
And with the thought, Matt, here's what my biggest fear was. I'm done. I used to run.
Right.
And be comfortable in driving.
Right.
And all of this I was facing now, not knowing if I'd ever be able to be normal and do these things again.
Yeah.
So the horizon was gone for me. And what does that do? Anxiety, depression, worry, and you have to have hope. And when you subtract that out of your life, it becomes a problem. And you certainly don't want to be using drugs and get addicted and things like that. Go through that same whole routine. So no, I'm just so glad one of the options for our patients. And yeah, it might not work for everybody, but if it does, it could change your life.
Yeah.
Change your life.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I heard you guys talking earlier about CBD and medical marijuana and all that as well. That's another big factor with Mend. We've been selling CBD for over 3 years now, and it's huge. I mean, I watch people walk in addicted to opiates, addicted to SSRIs.
Hydrocodone. Yes.
Depression, anxiety medications for years, and same thing. It's not a one size fits all for everyone.
No.
I have countless number of clients that have gotten completely off of depression medication, off of dangerous addictive opiates that it was ruining their lives, and it changes their life. They get the quality of life back. In turn, they can go out and start doing taking on other hobbies, exercising again. It's amazing.
It really is. Absolutely amazing. It is.
We've been inculcated with this idea that we're going to take a drug and we're going to fix things.
Right.
And then as we get older, we find that it's not fixing things, and then all of a sudden you're addicted.
Right.
That panacea is not going to be there, but you have to hope that there's going to be something, a tool, a way, a method that is out there that's going to be helpful. Cryotherapy is one of them. Acupuncture, acupressure, chiropractic care. There's so many options, CBDs. There's so many options there that are now can come before the use of opiates.
Absolutely.
And I think, as we talked about earlier in the earlier part of the show with Bob, getting addicted and then having this radiate out to where others around you can get addicted is not what we want in our society.
No.
It just isn't. And so to have cryotherapy, and you said it was 1978?
Yeah.
So what happened in 1978? How did somebody figure this out?
Well, it was invented in Japan. A doctor in Japan invented this. You realize rapid introduction of cold puts your body into fight or flight response. It's negative 220 degrees Fahrenheit. So to put this bluntly, your body sends a signal to your brain that you're about to die, because it is too cold to survive. It's negative 220 to negative 240 degrees Fahrenheit. It does not feel that bad though. It's a very dry cold as opposed to, you jump in the ocean, take a cold shower, 60-degree water, and it feels almost painful and breathtaking, but you walk outside, right now it's close to 60. It doesn't feel like you just jumped into a swimming pool.
Yeah, but
So it's a drier cold.
Matt, I just don't see me as being a polar bear and how, jumping into cold. I mean, people do that,
Yeah.
and that's great. And I think for them it's really healthy. But to me, to shock my not just my body but my brain, I don't want my lips falling off because they're frozen. So I asked the question. How do people tolerate 3 minutes of that?
Okay, so that's kind of where I was heading with that. So,
Okay,
like I
thank
said,
you, thank you.
with the moisture, the humidity, that's where it penetrates your skin. That's why it feels so cold. If you ice, you're numbing the area.
Yes,
you set it
yes,
on there,
yes,
you're numbing the
right.
area, right? With cryotherapy, all it's doing, your nerve endings go to the surface of your skin. They know the temperature, but it's not. You're not in there long enough.
It's
so
not a shock.
It's not a shock. Technically, it's not a shock. It's sending a shock signal to your brain. It's more
Right.
of preemptive. It's like a preemptive strike. You got a mountain lion coming for you. What happens? You produce endorphins and norepinephrine. That's your fight or flight response.
Yeah.
All this happening here is the same situation. As far as your body's concerned, you're about to freeze to death. Your body's pulling your blood right into your core to protect your vital organs.
Yeah.
While that's happening, you're also producing those endorphins and norepinephrine just in case it doesn't turn out okay. You got those quick reflexes to maybe get away. If not, you don't feel it.
So, but
So-
when you get it, is it a
But-
tube you go into, or
You're standing in a tube.
you're standing?
Yeah, we're standing in a tube. There's a little elevator, so we raise you up so your neck and head are sticking
Can you
out.
sit down in the tube, by the way, if you have bad wheels or something?
No, we actually have people
Want
with
you to-
walkers that come in and
Oh,
other issues like
alright.
that. So it's not
Does
a
a walker get frozen too?
You can't take the walker in, but we
Oh,
help
you
you
can't?
out. No, we
Okay,
can
okay.
help you out though. And there's as long
Okay.
you have to be able to at least hold yourself up a little bit because
Oh,
it's a
okay.
small tube. It's big enough that you
Can't lie
use your
anybody
hands.
down then.
You cannot lie yourself down on that.
Yeah, okay. Just
So-
because I do have some house call patients that are in such bad discomfort and pain from inflammation they can't walk, and if I can just slide them in there,
Right.
that might make a huge difference
Right.
for them.
So-
I'd like to bring them over one day and just see what their endorphins do.
Well, there's other therapies that we have that are more well suited for somebody in that situation as well.
okay.
So, pulse electromagnetic field therapy, hands down the most effective therapy I've ever come across. Period.
So it's called
Pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is.
we call it PEMF for short. And,
EMF.
and our customers call it anything from the thumper to the electro to the PEMF to the you name it.
Now, what kinds of problems do your clients have when they come in to see you?
Well, I'd say the vast majority of our clients are, as far as cryotherapy is concerned, are going to be a lot of athletes because they do it for sports recovery. It is a very quick fix when you have any kind of soreness, muscle soreness. You throw out your back, anything little like that. It's a quick fix.
Well, I used to put ice
almost
on.
instant fix.
Ice in different areas of the body right after working out or playing. Ice was the big thing.
Right. And ice works in a different way.
Yeah.
Even an ice bath works in a somewhat different way. So, because like I said, this is actually, with cryotherapy, the cold is only triggering your body to do all the work from within. So the anti-inflammatory response isn't coming because you're icing the area, numbing it, and taking down the inflammation via cold. It's your body's taking away the inflammation naturally. So that's the big difference. In turn, you can actually jump in there and then go out and run down the street, do whatever you want with no harm. You ice, you're numbing, you're stabilizing muscles. You need to be careful what you do.
So Matt, if you're looking at two of us here, if you were to have a volunteer, you would take one of us and see what happens. So Barbara, I nominate you as a volunteer
With my arthritis?
yeah, and see what happens. Now that I'm mobile, I'm good. But if you think your arthritis needs to be spiffed up a little bit, maybe we can.
What do you mean, spiffed up a little bit?
Well, just when after this celebrity waiter, this could be different for you. So something to think about. One of us have to be the guiney pig, Barbara.
Oh, all right,
So
I'll
I
be the
nominate
guinea
you.
pig.
I nominate you.
Okay, I'm not afraid.
I'm afraid of being a polar bear.
No.
I will say though, I just mentioned the athletes though. Our second biggest clientele, without a doubt, is senior citizens. So we have early morning. It's mostly senior citizens. That's how that's how they get their day started. When you're in pain, you wake up in the morning stiff, you can't move. It sets them off on the right note for the rest of the day. The main thing I have to remind most of them is you can't go out and clean your rain gutters. You can't go out and do your sprinklers right afterwards because all of a sudden their back doesn't hurt anymore and they forget and they get out there and start doing all this
That's
heavy
right,
lifting.
that's
They come back
right.
the next day even worse off. I'm like, so when they walk out, I'm like, no heavy lifting today. Don't forget.
Superman, Superwoman. Wow.
Well,
wow.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because if your body has mended right there, you think, oh wow, now I can go do this, 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 and this,
Right.
and end up worse off than you were before you went in there.
That's correct. And over time, you potentially can get back to doing those kind of things, but
Yes.
it's not an instant. You know, if you have an injury, it might have taken away the symptoms, but you still have the actual injury going on here. So it's something
That's
that it takes time to recover.
So how long is a session? Does it vary in time?
It's generally 3 minutes long. It's super short. So
3 minutes.
3 minutes. To get the benefits, you need approximately 2 to 3 minutes.
That's incredible.
And it's highly tolerable. There's someone in there talking to you the whole time to make time go by. And if you say I don't like it, they say no problem. They hit a button and you stop.
And you're out
So,
of there.
Yeah.
Oh,
And it's
that's-
very rare that we even have anyone actually say to stop the machine. So very rare.
But,
That's
but I think
amazing.
most of us worry about the panic button and assuring that we have one. That's
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. As long as you know you have a way out, it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Then you can just say, okay, well, I can wait 30 more seconds, I guess.
So how did you get involved in this?
So I actually owned a pharmaceutical company before this and a medical consulting firm. Well, to be honest with you, I started to see the ugly side of the business and I'm not just referring, everyone talks about big pharma, and yeah, that's a problem. It's a product of the FDA, the EPA, and it goes down from there. In this country, we're not so big on preventative medicine and a lot more about covering up our issues and creating
right.
new ones. So
That's right.
I actually was disgusted after a while, and I wasn't happy with what I was doing. I made a lot of money, and I did whatever I wanted. I went golfing, fishing every day, but I was not happy because I realized the reality of what's going on here. In turn, I've been an athlete my whole life. I've broken both my heels, my ankle, my knee, my femur, my neck. Paralyzed for 5.5 months on the upper
What
left
did
side
you
of my
do?
body.
What did you do though? Tell us.
Baseball, basketball, football, snowboarding, skateboarding, motocross, you name it.
Which was the worst in terms of injury?
Skateboarding and motocross, without a doubt.
Motocross.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm not sure if our seniors will be afflicted with some of the problems related to those.
No, but I was in chronic pain all the time.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I had access to any doctor I wanted. I had a broad reach
Trainers,
of
yes.
yeah, and I was not getting the help I needed. I recognized the issue with taking pills, and I wasn't taking pills. I heard about cryotherapy. Went and there was only one place to do it in California at the time, so I drove out there and gave it a shot, and it was like a life changer for me the first time I did it. At that point, I flew out to Texas, Dallas, Texas, because that's where the Dallas Mavericks they won the NBA
Basketball,
championships, and they were the oldest team in the NBA. And that was the big thing. They're like, "How did you guys win?"
Did Mark Cuban have something to
Yep,
do? He did?
of course. So
Yep, okay.
they said cryotherapy. After that, they blew up out in Texas. So I actually flew out and went to the Dallas Mavericks training facility, learned as much as I could there,
Wow.
and then came out and started MEND.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you right now, I make way less money and it's significantly more rewarding. I'm very
Oh,
happy
I'm
now.
sure.
So it feels great to watch people walk in. Doesn't feel good to watch them walk in pain, but it sure does feel good to watch them skip out the door
Skip
sometimes.
out the door,
So,
yeah.
Great.
That must be a great feeling.
It is.
Oh, we need to take a break, don't we? Oh, my. Yes, I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, 98.1 FM, AM 1220, KHTS.
Six Flags introduces West Coast Racers. Side-by-side racing with all the high-octane adrenaline you'd expect when the thrill capital teams up with West Coast Customs.
Hey, I'm Ryan of West Coast Customs. This just might be my most epic build yet.
The world's first quadruple-launch dual-track racing coaster, West Coast Racers, is now open. Launch, twist, and soar as you race for the checkered flag. Save up to 50% on tickets at sixflags.com. Open daily.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign. next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
Welcome back to the Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host Dr. Jean Dorio on your hometown station 98.1 FM AM 1220 KHTS. And we're speaking with Matt Browning, who's the owner of Mend Cryotherapy. And we were talking about the various problems that Mend Cryotherapy helps. And one of them was arthritis.
Right.
And what about someone who's in an automobile accident and hurts his back?
So we get that almost on a daily basis.
I can imagine.
So right off the bat, if someone walks in and says they hurt their back from a traffic accident, or really if they hurt their back from anything, the first thing I'd recommend anyone is try cryotherapy. It's inexpensive to start out. It's $20 to try it. If it doesn't work, you lost $20. If it works, amazing. You can walk in anytime and do it. I don't like to confuse people with having them try multiple therapies and then they don't know what they got out of each one. So
right.
I always try to guide someone to cryotherapy if they're a candidate for it. If it's something pretty severe, pulse electromagnetic field, like I said, is unbelievable, especially people have long ongoing issues with sciatic nerve pain, any kind of nerve issues especially. The results we see with neuropathy are unreal with the PMF. We've gotten full sensation back in people's hands and feet, and I don't know if anybody's been able to achieve that with any other therapy the way we have. It's unbelievable.
You know, Matt, being in the medical profession for 40 years now, you know, I've seen how we have evolved and utilized the science and evidence-based medicine to help our patients. But that utilization has gone, I believe, in the wrong direction, and it took with it addiction and problems that people face and put them into a surgical position where that didn't remedy the problem either.
Right.
Pushing, and my profession push things to the side. They push chiropractic care to the side, acupuncture, acupressure, a lot of things were and CBDs even pushed to the side, cryotherapy pushed to the side, things pushed to the side. Right. I think there's a problem with that where we're not accepting and understanding there are other options. And $20, please, I mean, that's great for if somebody has an ache and pain. And now they have these commercials on TV. If you have arthritis, take this medication. Usually ends with an AB, which means antibody. And they can work, but the problem is, Matt, they give you side effects. Yeah. And, you know, one of something called PML and a few other things that, side effects that you can die from these things, from this medication, tuberculosis. I mean, all these things can rise up and kill you, but yet this will help you live a better life. But if your life is gone, what do you do? So that's why I'm a proponent of looking at cryotherapy, looking at acupuncture, looking at all the different remedies that are out there, and not necessarily believing, but saying, try it, see what happens. It might work for you. How much do you find that people doubt what you say? People, I mean, Mark Cuban is a believer, so, and obviously wins an NBA championship because he believes and he moved in a direction to say, I'm going to do this. But how do you get people to believe?
At first, it was very difficult. When we started, nobody knew what cryotherapy was in the first place. So we're trying to explain to people, jump in here and freeze for 3 minutes. I swear it's not bad. So, you know, it's a lot. Honestly, it's just a lot of educating. It's a lot of, you know, just talking to them. And, you know, once you can kind of explain to them, you know, it's easy for me. I've been through a lot. So it's easy for me to kind of explain to people what I've gone through. And the great thing, I'm going to fast forward to now. It's a lot easier now. We have so many clients that believe in what we do that people don't walk out of our store without trying it when they're doubting, because there's about 3 or 4 people that are going to intercept it that are just standing there when they overhear it, and they'll tell them what it does for them.
Well,
so that's
you know,
our biggest.
Maybe I'll come and see you because I suffer from neuropathy in my feet.
You should definitely
it's
stop by.
Mostly at night, and I've been taking gabapentin at night.
Right.
and that does help. So maybe this will help me.
Please do come by. I would love to help you out with that, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised even after one time.
Wow.
Pulse electromagnetic field therapy, Barbara. You might come in and have an aura around you as you usually do.
A different aura.
That's right.
No, this would be the cryotherapy.
No, the pulse electromagnetic field. So don't worry, you don't have to get cold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually,
I don't think
I don't think cryo is the best thing for neuropathy. Not even by a long shot. In fact, sometimes extreme cold isn't. It can aggravate the situation.
But for her arthritis,
for the arthritis is great, but the PMF is great for arthritis as well. So, like I said, I think, and that's where I say not everyone's a candidate for cryotherapy.
Yeah.
There's other
other
alternatives that
modalities. You got to
exactly.
be pragmatic, I think, in terms of treatment. And if we're trying to avoid addiction, that's to me an important aspect of what I need to do as a clinician to help my patients move forward.
Yeah.
And
So-
if I risk that they're going to get addicted, that's a problem with me.
Now, how do we get in touch with you, and where are you located?
So we're located in Valencia on Newhall Ranch Road, in the Smart and Final and LA Fitness Shopping Center. If you guys know where New Moon is,
Yes, exactly.
it's right over there in that shopping center.
Okay. And how do people get a hold of you? Our seniors who are listening right now who say, I think I might try to be a polar bear.
Oh, they should just give us a call at 661-294-7898.
So that's 294-7898.
Correct.
Matt Browning, great information, gives us different modalities for those seniors who want to live life again. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
We are sponsored by Comfort Keepers In-Home Care and Advanced Audiology. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go and enhance your quality of life.